and an inner world, a land with no horizon. One might think that with today's capabilities in the fields of satellite photography and geophysical surveys, that the existence of an inner Earth would have either been proven or refuted by the existing data. Sadly, we have no way of knowing, because the powerful entities who control such data from the polar regions have seen to it that this knowledge remains secret. Most of us are familiar with our world as we view it from weather satellites on the evening news. These satellites go around the planet from east to west or from west to east. There are a few satellites called polar satellites that go around the Earth, North and South Pole. However, data is not available to the public for a view of the North Pole or the South Pole, only the center section. There are only a few polar satellites. In February of 2006, the federal government issued a data denial implementation plan, which secures the continued flow of real-time meteorological satellite data from the NOAA, provided instruments on board EUMETSAT's METCOP spacecraft to public duty users in the United States during episodes that might otherwise require data denial. Data denial means real-time data from U.S. environmental instruments can be denied during periods of crisis or war. There are no publicly available images of the North Pole.
The inner terrestrials surrounded the entrance gates with an electromagnetic protective dome, which no being or weapon can penetrate. After all this happened, it became the greatest secret of mankind. It started ufology as we know it today. Indeed, there is a second humanity, an inner terrestrial race who had already built cities in the inner Earth before the sinking of Atlantis. These extra and inner terrestrial races built time gates and anchored these cities on a higher subatomic frequency. After the great purification, these time gates will fall, and at different places there will be once again access to the underground cities.
See the yin and yang. From that you'll see rays of light coming out to an outer ring. That ring is full of foliage. This is also recognized around the world as a universal symbol of an inner Earth.
It's been called the land beyond the poles, Valhalla, Utopia, the Garden of Eden. Is it the Avalon of Camelot described in the Arthurian legends? Who knows? Maybe all these names describe the same place, a real place. In Tibet,
Agartha,
in Egypt,
Amerta,
in Iceland.
Asgarth.
John Blowfield writes in The Tantric Mysticism of Tibet, "If, as the cynics would have it, this mystical experience is sheer illusion, the stuff of dreams, it is strange that men and women belonging to widely different environments have, throughout the centuries, suffered the same delusions and dreamed the same dream. It is a place where the great ancients live, the people who hold the wisdom of the universe. Some say it is a place of perpetual light, where the inhabitants of Atlantis reside. In Iceland, belief in the hollow earth, or Ultima Thule, as a physical, mystical place is very common. In fact, most of the Icelandic folklore originates with this belief. To some Buddhists, it is a holy place, a place of great spiritual power. Other modern-day believers say the hollow earth is not the source of great knowledge, but rather the source of the greatest government cover-up ever known.
We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started, and know the place for the first time, when the tongues of flame are enfolded into the crowned knot of fire, and the fire and the rose are one. T.S. Eliot.